Okay, let's go.
He wants to jump
1,000 cars. Sir, you have 1,000 cars.
I don't think I'd attempt to try this stunt.
Or we owe this horsepower to Uncle Sam.
Too many cars.
Car.
Roses would be...
Like I put my beer belly on it.
If you can't immediately tell somebody how many cars you have.
You'll really give those uppity yuppies something to think about.
Stay on the bar. Don't go off the bar with your Bronco.
1980 Volvo horns, which are like, I want the man's coolant.
And he's like, oh, I thought it'd be small. It's for a small car. And I'm like, yeah, but it's still an automatic transmission. They're never going to be light.
It's definitely going to have to crash.
Starting off with Brad buying another car.
That's the West. Internet.
You know, is this a Nigerian oil print?
I also wish you drove a tan Camry.
Anyways,
Anyway,
that's a
horrible,
very
horrible podcast content.
very
Talking about a picture.
inside joke.
It loves to be driven hard.
All right, we are at another episode of Auto Off Topic. And what's up, Brad? Silence. Great start. All right, welcome to Auto Off Topic. And I guess we're Car Week, Brad. And I'm gonna say that's why we didn't have a podcast. Not that it was rusty Subaru wheel bearings that were keeping me away from the podcast. But
I mean, isn't that why we didn't have a podcast?
yeah, I was in the middle of doing that, so you don't have to hear me
but
complain about them anymore.
I was also at Car Week last week.
The night we could have recorded, I decided to work on that instead, just to get out of the way. But
It would have been Monday night. We wouldn't have anything to talk about because we only recorded the past Thursday. So it would have been fine. People will live.
yeah, we'll go over some project car updates. I went to a race. You went to Car Week. Yeah, I don't know. Might as well start with the boring stuff. So, like, Stephanie's car is all set. It's quiet now. It's got new wheel bearings. It was way easier to just do the knuckle with the bearings. And I got lucky on the Crosstrek. It was $180 for knuckles, and they came with the bushings in there, even though the parts catalog looked like they did not have any bushings in it. So I opened the box, and there were bushings in them. I was like, yes, that's perfect.
Sweet. One less thing to press in.
Exactly. And I was able to cancel the order of getting the bushings from Japan because they were cheaper. They were cheaper that week. Now they're not that cheap, which is another annoying thing.
Things are getting expensive real fast, especially as we want.
Car is all set. It is, yeah. That car is now just normal Subaru loud inside. So, perfect.
Which I guess normal Subaru loud is better than not too loud. So
the only thing I can definitely hear now is the snow tires that I've left on all summer. So that's expected.
Oh, you weren't car very much.
But they're from like 2018 and they're kind of worn. So I was like, you know what, Stephanie, at this point, just leave them on. And come October, November, we'll just buy a new set of snow tires. And then next year I'll worry about the summer tires. So that car is all set. I don't even think I talked about it. I did look at my mom's Beetle. My dad and I, we jacked up the front. The front wheels were locked up. I don't know. They're like, I didn't realize how tricky they are to adjust the drums. They have no auto adjusters on those things. You have to adjust each shoe on each side individually.
That's annoying.
So like, they were just like really tight. Like the pedal was pretty firm, but they were like basically barely off the drum. So I backed them off what I thought wasn't that far. And it like, spun. You can like hear the shoes hit the drum. I'm like, yeah, that must be all right. Get in the car and the pedal's like on the floor. Like, that sucks. That's like so annoying. So my dad had already ordered front brake kit, disc brake conversion. So the only thing he didn't have was the hoses. And I was like, yeah, these hoses look pretty dried out. There's no point in putting nice disc brakes on here.
Arizona
Yeah.
Arizona car, so that would make sense.
Yeah. So he ordered that stuff, and I just haven't gotten to it yet. We're gonna do that maybe this week. I don't know. We get to it. That's not a big deal. It's pretty straightforward. It's like I think maybe they're off of Carmen Gear or something. It's like adapter
Yeah, I don't.
brackets.
Some air cooled in some market that was probably built longer than they were built in the for American market. Probably came with them. Could
Yeah.
even be a later Beetle. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. It's got like adapter brackets. You basically like take the drum off, and you don't even have to disassemble the shoes. You just unbolt the hard line from the soft line and just throw that whole assembly away. And it just has a new adapter plate you bolt on, holds the bracket. It's the disc with the wheel bearing in it, and you're good to go. So,
Look at you choosing all these cars to work on that you can just buy parts for that just work. Volvos and Volkswagens.
Yeah,
Who would have
exactly.
known? That's the key to happiness.
So, in the meantime, all that, I did work a little bit on the Volvo. I don't think we talked about this. It's not like we couldn't go back and listen to a tape of it, but I got the manifold on there. I got the exhaust set up. I did talk about putting the flex pipe in there. So, and I lined up the manifolds, and then I used the original aluminum manifold I had bought to use with like SUs, or I was gonna put the adapter plates on it for the Mikunis if I was gonna use them. Because either way, you needed a separate intake manifold to run the header, because the factory one is connected cast iron. And I used that as a template, and then marked the Misabi, I think that's how you pronounce it, Misab, intake manifolds, the material that needed to come off of them. And I went to Harbor Freight and got like this air-powered belt sander. It's got like a little tiny belt that's like half an inch wide.
Yeah.
And yeah, it works
very
great.
common
It was like,
in auto body for getting spot welds.
yeah, it works really, really good for like $30. And I was able to just shave that down, and they fit nice. I'm going to do a little bit more work to them to give a little more space for the nuts and washers. And then I'm going to clean them and throw a coat of that aluminum blast paint on them. But that's coming along. And then in the meantime, I wrapped the exhaust header with heat wrap, and that came out nice. And I've got that in there right now. And because I'm recording this podcast tonight, I am not working on the Volvo, so I would have been working on putting the intakes on. That's the next thing to do, probably next week. And I'll try to get the Webers all mounted up, and I have cold start delete kits for them. I was told to get, because the cold start valve can leak, and it'll either make it rich or you'll end up with a vacuum leak. So you just get blanking plates for that, take it off. Apparently just got those in the nick of time, because the guy that sells all the nice Weber parts from the Czech Republic said he can't ship to the US anymore, which is cool. Love that for us. All the hobbies getting their ass kicked here.
Super thrilled.
We can make all Weber parts here in the United States, so that's awesome. Anyway, yeah, that is what I've been working on in that car. I don't think there's anything big I've done to it. It was just working on that stuff. I've been trying to strip the fan, because the fan is like aluminum, and it's supposed to be yellow, and somebody painted it, it's factory yellow, and then somebody painted it like black and then red apparently. And the citrus strip worked on some of the paint, but some of the paint just won't come off. Like some of it's just stuck on, even with citrus strip. It's weird. I'm gonna have to get out like the whizzer thing and just like whiz it off.
Aircraft. Oh,
it's
don't you have a
buried
sandblasting
down
cabinet in there?
stuff. So yeah. And it's funny, I'm looking at it, I can't remember how the fan was attached to the water pump. Like the pulley has 4 bolts, and then I'm like, I don't remember how I took this fan off. So I gotta look. Yeah, I don't.
It's
Yeah,
usually
I
an
don't know. I don't
adapter.
remember now. I gotta look back at pictures and like put the parts together and see what's missing. I have everything. I know it. Yeah.
It's a
And then I
factory
was also
piece,
like,
so
but then
at
I was
least
like, wait a minute. I
they'll
have
fix
a
it.
electric fan kit I bought for the Montero I never installed. I could just use that. I'm like, maybe I'll just do that. Just have an electric fan. Yeah, I'm like, I can just get
I
it
mean,
again
it
for the
wouldn't be a bad
Montero.
idea.
It's just something I got from Summit. So
Plus,
no, it is a clutch fan.
that fan in that car is not a clutch fan; it's just a direct drive, right?
It still make a ton of
It's
noise.
a clutch. But the problem with any like a mechanical fan, they make a ton of noise, and you want to hear that intake sound. And I think that the big fan like that would be better for not like swirling the air around the like trumpets for those Webers too. I'm sure there's some weird
I gotta
like
double check the
aerodynamics thing
size.
there.
I think
It
because
might
the
be better
radiator's
just to use the
small,
electric
and I have
fan.
like a 12-inch fan. It might just fit in that radiator. So let's get the probe and everything. I'm like, I might just do that. That seems like a better idea because you can definitely just bolt the pulley to the water pump without the fan.
Yep.
I was able to repaint that and strip it. It was red. It's supposed to be like black.
100%.
Are you a big fan?
And I'm a big fan.
Hey.
I'm a big fan of those electric. Yeah. Hey. I'm a big fan. Yeah. An enjoyer of the electric fan with that little probe that goes in the radiator. It seems to be like it just works.
Yeah. The more I talk
A
about
few
it right
cars, and
now,
it's
I
just
was
nice.
like, I
So
don't remember if this was a shower thought this morning. Maybe it was. The more I talk about it right now, I'm like, yeah, it's probably the way to
okay.
go. It's just easier.
Yeah.
And then when you're
Plus, it clears
working
up
on it, you
space.
just have
Looks
this
prettier.
swinging fan because it doesn't have a shroud or anything. It's just swinging around to take your fingers off, and you're trying to like.
Well, if you're working in your Swedish car, you got to have
Yeah,
your
sucked right
jacket
in
with
there.
elbow patches and your tie on.
Which
So
it's
you can like,
the
get
more
your
I think
tie
about it,
caught
yeah,
in
it's
there.
like it's gonna be really annoying. You're trying to tune the thing, and this fan's just making a ton of noise and blowing air around. So, yeah, I think I'll just do that. Decision made. Glad we worked this out.
Problem solved. Problem solved.
Yeah,
It's the kind of things we don't
plus
get
I already
to
have it.
work
so.
out together in the garage anymore. Yeah, that helps too. Well, I haven't worked on anything. I spent like an hour in the garage last night fiddling with engine parts on the Corolla, but that doesn't count. And I'm probably down for the count for the next at least week or so. I had to have some pre-cancerous spots moved off my back today, and they told me to not like work on cars for a week. So
Don't move around.
they didn't say no, don't work on cars for a week. But they basically said don't do anything like gross and disgusting and sweaty and like too much movement for the next week because you have a bunch of stitches. So I won't have any project car updates probably next week either. But I did spend.
Sure.
Do we just move into events now at this point, basically? Or do you want to go something on that side of town?
I mean, you want to talk about my
country,
event first?
town,
'Cause it's
country,
shorter.
something on that side of the country.
Sure.
What was your lame event? I mean,
myself
what was your event?
and my
Andrew?
buddy and his son, we went over to not Lime Rock, Watkins Glen for the cup race. So yeah, it was pretty cool because it was like
Yeah, that's not lame, actually.
pretty heavily favored that SVG was going to win, and spoiler, he won like handily. So
by a lot again, yeah. Which really changed people's minds because people kept saying like, "Oh, he's gonna really be equalized when he gets on a track like Watkins Glen, and they're gonna know how to drive that track. It's not the same style track." And he went out there and
yeah,
just
I
kicked everybody's
remember
butt. So
because he did not do well at Coda this year. And, all the announcers were like, oh, he's been equalized. Like all these guys have run Coda before. Like it's not a street course.
Yep.
And I don't know, there was like something wrong with the car or something. He just didn't have it that day. And then he went out, obviously, Chicago, Sonoma, Mexico City, yeah, and just wrecked everybody.
and won every other road race. Yeah.
And then, you know, a racetrack like Watkins Glen that they've been, and just like Sonoma, they've been going to for at least 40 years. Like they should know how to make a race car. Other teams should know how to
Yeah.
race there. I don't know. It also, to me, felt like a little bit like defeatism, where they're just like, this guy's just gonna win. We'll just not try. Yeah. So
Yeah, we're all fighting for second place here, guys.
I don't know. Whatever. It was a good race. It's a cool track.
Your theory about Kyle Larson, though, is probably more than true there, because he doesn't want to be embarrassed by him, because Kyle Larson himself has
That
said
was
he's
really
the greatest of all
weird.
time,
He like
and obviously he's
spun
not.
5 laps in,
So
said the brakes failed, spun in the first turn. They went in, did something under the hood, filled with something, and then he just went out and did hot laps. He did set the fastest time. Sure, because you're in the back of the pack, not
and he ran the fastest
battling
lap of the
position,
day.
and you just get
Yeah.
clean air.
Right, but I don't know. It's just it was very odd, and maybe
super odd.
there's some merit to your
And then,
theory
like,
where he was sandbagging
I
because he
don't know,
doesn't
you
want
look
to be
at people like
embarrassed.
Chase Elliott, you're probably super embarrassed because you had the most road course wins pre-Gen 7 car, and you haven't even finished, I don't know, maybe top 10, I
Yep.
don't know, on a road course in the last, like, 5 years.
He's got a second and a third. He's got a second and a third, a couple in there. He has not done great, and a lot of the younger drivers are adapting better to the road courses than the veterans who came from the old car. So,
But then, you know,
except for
the
Denny
old
Hamlin has won
car
a couple.
is what's in the Xfinity, and SVG was rocking them in the old car. So, but also, so was Connor Zilch until he fell off his car.
Until Connor Zilch spun. Yeah. Well, yeah, until he spun SVG, which is,
Yeah.
I don't know, is what it is, I guess. Didn't seem like a clean pass. But yes, then he fell off his car and broke his collarbone.
Just like
and gave himself a
insane
concussion.
luck.
But, you know,
Or just like an
be careful
insane
celebrating.
circumstance. I don't know. So anyway.
Or lack of luck. It was like they made a rule change based on the window nets in the celebration. It was like it was outside the car, should have been inside the car, but it wasn't a rule, and now it is, or vice versa. I don't remember what it was. But NASCAR was like, well, the reason he fell was because he tripped got tangled in the
I don't know.
window netting. So,
and then
there was some rule change about
Richmond
that I
was a
read
decent
about.
race. The tire wear was cool. Except for Austin Dillon
I
winning.
thought it was a very
but
good
whatever.
race.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is what it is. At least he didn't wreck people out of his way this year like last year. Honestly, that should have been a 23-11 victory because they were dominating all day. And then, victim of circumstance for Tyler Reddick, he got taken out through none of his own accord.
Yeah. Suarez hit.
Yeah, he was hit
or something.
and spun.
Yeah, it was like
Suarez hit somebody.
Yeah.
No, into him. So
it was.
I thought it was Ty Gibbs.
And then
because I was mad at Ty Gibbs, and I was like, actually, I guess that was Suarez's fault.
Well, they made a mistake. They didn't get the tire on, and then it was lucky that they didn't.
Yeah,
it didn't go out on the track. But then you still get a penalty because of your service out of your box. But the other,
sure,
they must have been. Must have been a real heads up to get him to stop in another Toyota box, and they had another Toyota team put the wheel back on for him. Like it literally rolled to a stop behind him. Like it was like the best that failure could go.
But they didn't
put that one back on.
They didn't put that wheel in the car, though. They put a different wheel in the car. Did they?
Nope.
Because I thought they were saying he had to come back around again to get the
No, he had to come back around.
Because
it's a penalty for service out of your box to stop and go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why he had to come back around.
That I knew for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, they went from dominating to wrecked and 2 laps down. So.
Yeah, I don't know.
That was unfortunate.
It's been decent racing. I don't think, I think the car is fine. People complaining about the car is wrong. People complaining about too many road courses are wrong. I think you've got a lot of drivers who are just comfortable with contracts and they're not racing as hard as they want to on certain tracks, or as they should. And the other issue is, maybe they're finally getting it right with the tire compounds, but if you've got tires that don't wear out, then nobody loses time and nobody can make passes. So that's a problem. And that they seem to have found the sweet spot with a tire that wore out at Richmond. Yeah.
On this track surface, yeah. That's the issue with the lack of tire wear, is that it becomes a fuel mileage race. And nothing's more boring than a fuel mileage race.
So yeah, I don't know. They're working on it, I guess. It's not. It depends on the track. And the new 2026 season schedule is out, and it's interesting because they moved Watkins Glen way up to May. So, and then New Hampshire's moved up to, yeah. Well, for heat,
theoretically
it doesn't
better for
usually
weather.
rain. I feel like it'd be more likely to rain in May in the Northeast than it does in August.
But they don't mind rain in a road course because it doesn't cancel a race. So
no,
it was pretty uncomfortable there, wasn't it?
Really
like 90
nice.
degrees
It was
and
hot,
like high
but
humidity
it wasn't
when you were
like
there.
high humidity.
Oh, okay.
And then they moved New Hampshire up to August, or it's like now. It used to be in July. This year's in September. They used to do 2 races, one in like July and September. Now they just got one they move around, so it's going to be in August. So actually, I think like this weekend next year. So, we'll see.
Yeah, it's weird they move them around like that, but I guess
Wilkesboro is going to be an actual points race.
different races need different things.
Yep,
that's cool. And I'm excited about the San Diego track.
NASCAR's getting going on.
That should be fun too. Cool. I'm glad you got to the road course because it's still on my bucket list to make it to Watkins Glen. I have not been there yet.
I need to go there for
whether it's a NASCAR or the
I
historics or whatever.
What I didn't go to last weekend was, even though I bought a ticket for it, was Circuit Legends. I was just too worn out from working on stupid Subaru bearings and driving the weekend before all the way out to Watkins Glen and back. Even though we split it, it's still a lot of driving. I just didn't feel like driving another 3 hours that weekend to go out to Lime Rock. Even though it's a really good event, I just hung low all weekend. So yeah, it's really good and it's worth going to.
That's grid life, right?
But it was also, it gives us an option. It's nice for all the people that can't go to Car Week. It's something to do on the East Coast, and they clearly put it all the way over here, so you're not competing with Car Week.
Yeah, definitely not. Because anybody, every car person in
So
the West was there, I think.
Car Week go.
So it was a bit of a time. Well, as a first timer, it was, for lack of a better word, overwhelming. I'd never even been to Laguna Seca. It was on my list of, much like Watkins Glen, track I need to go to. So to go from never having been there to camping there for a week was kind of a big change, but totally worth it. I don't know. I don't even know, honestly. I mean, other than just like go over my schedule and what I did, like there was just so much happening the entire time. There's never not an event you can go to, and they don't all cost tons of money. Like they talk about, the Quail being like a $700 or $800 spectator ticket. Sure, but there's probably 5 or 6 free events that same day. So it's pretty amazing the amount of people that are there. I do wish that I had gone pre-influencer days, because there's a lot of that like younger YouTube energy, which I don't love, with running around trying to be able to rev and do burnouts and all that kind of stuff. So that was a little bit disappointing. I would not expect that at a highbrow event, but I guess because of the way car culture is now in 2025, that's just what you get. And the expensive people or the expensive cars that are owned by the people that can afford them, these new supercars, they want the attention. So if people are going to record them, they're going to rev. And there was a lot of that going on, which is annoying. But I mean, other than that being the only real negative, it's an amazing time. Amazing time. We did. Again, I don't even know where to begin with the story because there's just so much happening. A huge thank you to my friends that invited me out there to hang with them. Michael from Italian Design and Racing, and friends of his and mine that were all going out there. So kind of put this whole thing together. And have I
Well,
said
what
wow
day
enough,
did you get
Andrew?
there?
I don't think I have.
Okay. Does it go like Sunday to Sunday?
Tuesday. Yeah, we'll start. We'll start a break here. I don't know when the official thing starts. There are
Okay.
events the previous weekend. They call it the pre-reunion at Monterey, and that's where the vintage racing starts. I feel like Monday and Tuesday don't have a lot going on based on what I heard or what I saw happening. I didn't get there till Tuesday. I do know that like downtown Carmel, I guess is the name of the town, gets crazy like all week. We never went really downtown because it's not our scene. That's where all the supercar people are. But I guess that's where like you go like sit and have dinner and just watch multi-million-dollar cars roll around. So that was not in my plans because we camped at the racetrack. So yeah, I got there Tuesday night. There wasn't much of a story to tell Tuesday. I flew in on the same plane that that Michael's dad was on. So he was getting a rental car, so he gave me a ride afterwards. And then we all met up. So in the area of Car Week, the central like meeting area is the Embassy Suites Hotel. Because it's a big property with a large parking lot. And it's not like coned off for just guests or anything. Like there's a Chili's or something in the same parking lot. So it's a big parking lot. So most people when they're meeting groups meet there. So that's what we did. We met there. And I got a ride back to camp in David's Mark 1 Escort. So first night I'm there, I'm rolling around in a Mark 1 Escort. It's a sign of a good night to come, right? Or a good week to come. David's Mark 1 Escort is dark blue with a improperly said BDA. It's not a BDA. It's a later motor. It's a Cosworth out of a Sierra, RS Sierra. So that 2-liter Cosworth turbo is what's in his Mark 1. Oh, so yeah, that was basically night one. It was pretty simple. Got to camp, set up camp, hung out there at camp, and then it's time for day 2. And day 2, we started with Little Car Show.
For little cars?
Little Car Show is an event that's just... It is, yes. Good call.
Okay.
It's supposed to be 1,600 cc's and down. So it's not micro cars by any means, but micro cars are there. But it's, yeah, anything 1,600 cc's and down. So David had his Escort in there because it was originally a 1.3, even though at some point it's been swapped to a 2-liter Cosworth. They let it slide. There were a few things like that in there. It was a we'll call it a stretching of the rules for some of the cars that were there. But it was a neat catch-all show for a lot of stuff that wouldn't have a home at a lot of other events during the week. Like if you were in Car Week with an MG, that's where you'd go to that show because it's not fancy enough for the concourse or the quail, but it's perfect for like the little car show. And I'm sure there are other individual meets you could go to for a vehicle like that. I just was unaware of them because I only knew, my first year there, I was like, just show me the way. Like, I'm just going to sit back and relax and just wherever you need help, I'll help. Other than that, I'm just going to follow along pretty much. So there could be more stuff to learn and more events to go to that would fit other cars. But so far, Little Car Show is the only one I'm aware of. It was also the first time I have ever seen at a car show another NSU. So That was cool.
A
Yep.
shorter
It was
one.
a shorter
Okay.
wheelbase version, like the TT style. Yes. So mine is the 1200C, which has 8 inches, I think. I think it's 8 inches extended
Wow.
behind the front wheel
Okay.
before the door. So it gives more leg room. Yeah. The earlier cars were shorter by 8. I think it's 8 inches. So anyway, one of those was there. The guy's Instagram account is at Retro Sporting. He does a lot of B sedan style stuff in Northern California. So cool to see that. Has on twin Webbers, had a cool exhaust, had cool vintage racing buckets, just had a neat look to it. But it was just neat to see another NSU. While we were there, David is from England, and he had met this guy there the year before who owned
Yep.
the English pub that's on the same street as the Little Car Show. And I guess they both were, from a same basic area, and they both favor the same soccer team. So he made a joke that he's going to send him team shirts for all of David's friends to wear to the pub the next year, which I was unaware of. And obviously, if anybody knows me, knows my level of anxiety. Wearing matching T-shirts to everybody is way up there.
What team was
But
it?
I played along. I wore the shirt. It was definitely
You
funny.
made the
to be
T-shirt?
like, I don't know, maroon and blue.
Is it like Manchester United or
I did, but I gave it back to him for next year. I don't know.
Crystal Palace or something?
It was
Or
definitely not that one. I would have remembered that.
yeah, I don't know either.
Man, I
That just
maroon and
exhausted
blue.
my knowledge of
I
Premier
really don't
Sports
know.
League soccer teams.
Yeah, I have absolutely no idea. We'll follow up next week. I'll dig some pictures out and find out what it is. But anyway, it was funny to be in an event like Car Week, and people are everywhere, and like we all showed up with that shirts. The owner came out, and next thing you know, we're first people to sit down, and ton of great food for a
There you go.
significantly lower price than it would have been if we didn't go wearing those shirts. So that was cool. Yeah, that's how you got to do it, right? They keep Car Week cheap. Let's see what else happened this week. I did the DWA morning meetup where they get there's not a morning motors. I guess maybe they called it a morning motors, but we met at a Starbucks and hung out there for like an hour. Then everybody got in their cars and drove. I think it was like 15 or 20 miles to a spot on the side of the one to watch the tour go by. Now, the tour is all of the cars that are participating in
Mistlewood. It's just like
Sunday's
what we said at
Pebble
Mistlewood.
Beach Concourse. But they drive them on a just like Mistlewood was. Yep. So they drive them on a loop, a few days before the actual concourse. This was on, I think, Wednesday morning. So we got the spot for that. Super cool driving down the route with all those, SoCal guys that we all know on Instagram but don't know in real life. Super cool ride with all those guys. We took David and I went in the Mark 1 Escort again. So it's cool to have a car there that fit in with them as well. Met a ton of people there that I've known through the internet, but never knew in person. Chatted with Sloaney.
Cool.
From Instagram and from our Discord. He was there. Took a minute while we were talking to realize who each other were. Ryan from Ford. Ryan.
Oh, yeah. I've met him and he's in
Can't think of
Massachusetts.
Ryan's last name right now.
I can't remember his last name right now.
From Massachusetts. Yep, I met him there. Yep, big jerks we are. Frank from another pointless automotive podcast was there. So it's a cool chat with him. Felt bad that I didn't recognize who he was when he started talking to me till he was like, Brad, right?
Yeah.
Just like totally overwhelmed. So much happening. So yeah, we watched that event. We left there. We were going to go to the Ferrari Owners Club show because that's where we had some of our friends' vehicles were at. But as we were leaving, we were stuck in a little bit of traffic to head back up the one. And when David started coming off the clutch, I could hear the brakes make noise. And I was like, like a little chirp. I was like, that's not good. And then, got a little louder, got a little louder, got a little louder. And then it got to the point where he would clutch in and the car would start to slow down.
Oh, they locked up. It's like,
This is definitely not good. So as soon as we had a free, So as soon as we had a free spot, we could pull over. And bear in mind, we were only going like 10 miles an hour. We weren't going fast.
no.
We pull over, we get out, and the front brakes are actually smoking. Yeah, so that's also obviously not good. David happened to have an infrared thermometer with him because he's been double checking his, his gauges for his fans and everything. Pulls it out.
Okay.
The brakes were
Not great.
588 degrees. So that's too hot. Yeah, that's not good at all. So now we're on the side of the road. We're like trying to figure out what's going to happen. We don't know what to do. We're also not in cell service. There is one of the cars from the tour across the street. It's some big Chrysler concept car. They had a bunch of Chrysler concept cars in the concourse this year. He's also broken down, but he already has a tow truck. And the tow truck driver's like, "Hey, do you guys need a tow?" But at that time, we had just pulled over, and we're like, "No, we'll figure it out." So he drove off. Then
It's like waving
it hit
off.
me. I was like,
Do you
wow.
guys need a lifeboat? No, we'll swim.
That was dumb. That was really dumb. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We were joking about it afterwards. All I could think about was the scene in Dumb and Dumber with the tour bus full of all the bikini girls. Is like, he goes, "Oh, you dummy. It's that way." But anyway, yeah, so the tow truck drove off, and then we were sitting there. Probably could have been a bad choice, but turned out to not be. So we started taking like an inventory of what we had for tools, and then realized we didn't have the number one essential tool for working on brakes, which was a jack. So that wasn't going to work very well. And then going to the tools, the only things we had, because we had taken everything out of the car before we left, were one of those cheap ratchets, like ratcheting wrench sets, and not ratcheting wrench, like ratchets, and a few wrenches, like between 7 mil and 12 mil. So we're like, all right, what can we do to make this car work? I was like, well, the wheels don't roll. It's cooled off a bunch now. It's down to like 150 degrees. The wheel is still not rolling. Like, so obviously letting it cool off didn't help. So maybe the only thing I can even consider doing here is maybe crack the bleeders and relieve some pressure and something will move. Maybe. There's no other options here. So let's roll the dice and see what happens. So I did that and they opened. Moved enough fluid through that it popped them, and both front wheels were stuck and both front wheels freed up. So we drove it back to camp instead of going to any other places, with light touches in the brake pedal and a big dose of e-brake to stop the car, because it seems to be that when you've pushed the brakes too far, they get hung up somewhere along like a ridge or something, maybe. Who knows? The brakes have not been rebuilt since the car's been in this country, so we don't really know the history of them. We figured out they're upgraded to Capri brakes, so they're a larger brake than the Escort 1.3 would have had. But we made it back to camp. He used the car the rest of the week sparingly just to go to events he'd pre-registered for, and it worked out. Got it back on the trailer, and it's back home now to be actually worked on and have new calipers put in it, because they are definitely sticking. So did I actually do anything by cracking the bleeders? I don't know. But the wheel freed up. So whether it was chance timing or it actually did something, at least we got the
We're
car
able to
back,
get back
right?
in the car. Get back. Yeah.
We got the car back to camp, I should say. Yeah. Get back to where he once belonged. So yeah, the next day was a car show called the Paddock. And at the Paddock, there was a Radwood curated display. So Mark, who was with us, had his car in the Radwood display. He has I think it's 1989 Maserati Shamal, which is like the ultimate evolution of the biturbo, basically. It was never sold in this country. Big box flares like a Starion, twin turbo V8 manual transmission. Very cool car. They only made 360 something of them worldwide. And I think there's 4 in this country right now. Super cool car. So that was in the Radwood show. Michael had his green
Mm-hmm.
Ferrari 550 race car in the Radwood show. And the Paddock show was more of a catch-all for other things. So David put his Escort in that show. So I think it's a new show.
Oh,
like
really?
the second year of it. It was absolutely horrible. Yeah. So the Radwood part was cool. When you first walked in, you walk to the Radwood thing. They asked him to bring 50 some odd cars. I think there were 60 cars. Yeah, in typical Radwood fashion, they laid it out the way they normally do. It looked really neat, and cars were, not parked side by side. They had good display going on. But then you walked over the hill to where the other part of the show was, the Paddock part of the show, and the cars were all parked side by side in like parking lot rows, and they were like 5 cars, and then like 300 feet, and then like 6 cars, and then 250 feet, and then 5 more cars. But it wasn't on purpose because they had them all parked, and they had the lines, like they had flags in the ground and lines painted in the ground to show cars where to park. So they must have expected hundreds and hundreds of cars, and they got like 50. So that wasn't positive. And then what really stunk was you were stuck there all day. You couldn't leave till after awards if you had a car on the show. And the show was like
That's long.
3 to 8, which is, it's a long time. And we'd been there since noon because they wanted us there, before 1 to stage the cars in the field, which obviously, that's another story. So we're staging the cars in the field, and David had me roll with them in case I had to jump out and stop the car by hand while we were rolling across the field because, the brake situation. And we're rolling in. What is the name of that supercar, Andrew, with like the
Pagani?
exposed shifter linkage and like the nautical themed interior?
Okay.
No, pre-Pagani. Spiker. So it was some like special Spiker celebration was happening at this event, and there were 5 Spikers there. Of the 40 cars, 5 of them were Spikers. Like, okay. So we're rolling in, and nobody told us where to go. We're just following the car in front of us, and the car in front of us is one of those Spikers. We pull into like the area where they're parking it, and a guy looks at us. Oh, are you guys in the Spiker exhibit? Like, no, we're at a Ford Escort. Like, obviously not the Spiker. So he's like, oh, okay, never mind. We'll find somebody else to show you where to go. All right.
Okay.
So we follow this guy in a golf cart across the field, and we go past everything. Not another car around us, but the only car within 200 feet in every direction. He lines us up, like spends all this time lining us up in the spot. He's like, all right, this is where you're going to go. We'll build off you. Okay, that's cool. So we walk away. We go walk around the show. I go back to the car like 45 minutes later just to change my sunglasses. The show's on now. Gates closed. Everything's happening. Not another car inside of our car. All by ourselves. No car near us. No need to go anywhere near us. The car is just sitting in the middle of like the middle of the. It's on a golf course. It's in the middle of the green, just hanging out there. It's like, okay, well, guess the car stays there now. Nothing around it at all. I'll have to post a picture because it's comical how far away it was from anything else at the height of this car show. So, what else happened? We spent a lot of time at the racetrack, all day, every day from 8 a.m. till 5 or 6 p.m. is vintage racing. Just constant from Tuesday to Saturday. The coolest thing there this year was the IROC celebration. It's the first time ever that all 5 generations of IROC car have been on the track at the same time. So that was cool. They had everything from the 1973 Porsche 911 RSR cars to the late 90s Dodge Avengers. Obviously, Dodge Avengers weren't production based anymore. They were full on NASCAR style cars, but just a very, very, very cool event. And the coolest part about it was they didn't just have gentlemen drivers driving the cars. They had the people who drove the cars when they were on track for IROC back in the 80s and 90s. So, 7 generations of IROC cars, but about 5. So Jeff Gordon, Kurt Busch, Bobby Labonte, Bill Elliott, Mark Martin, Ken Schrader, Danny Sullivan, Scott Pruitt, like those dudes who drove the cars back in the day, all those guys that is named were driving cars this weekend on track together. So very cool to see. Like just one of those motorsports moments that I'll never forget. Other than that, it was pretty standard fare for vintage car racing. There was an F1 display with the 50 years of F1. That was kind of cool. Or 75 years of F1, wherever it's been. It's a long time. Walter Rural's 037 Lancia was there. The Group E car. Never seen that car in person before. I mean, again, I'm running out of adjectives to describe how cool Car Week was, and there's so much stuff in my brain that I saw, I don't even know how to get it out there. Just, you have to do it. If you have a chance to do Car Week, you have to do it. So
Yeah, I'm pretty jealous.
that's basically it. It was a good
I'd
time.
like to go sometime.
Well, I think it's going to be a regular thing for me. I'll talk about cost real quick. I have friends that got hotels there or Airbnbs. For the same amount of time I was there, the
You're splitting it
cheapest
with
one
how
that
many
I
people, though?
heard was $3,200. That was a hotel
for
room
the whole
with
week?
just 2 beds in it.
3,200 at like what kind of hotel?
Right. But that was the cheapest.
Ooh.
At like Motel 6 down. Yeah. Yeah, if you want a room in one of the nicer hotels, you're, a grand plus a night. So, yeah. So, another friend did an Airbnb and they spent almost 10 grand. Yeah. So, that's the kind of pricing that happens at this event. All of that being said, camping at the racetrack, an RV spot at the racetrack for the entire
$1,000?
week. Do you have an idea what that would cost, given those numbers?
500, really? That was going to be my first guess.
Half of that.
They
Yeah,
booked like a year
$500.
out.
Yeah. But the caveat there is they book out really far, and people who already have the spots have priority. That
Camping
being
at the track.
said, I forget where I was going with that whole thing. Oh, it doesn't include. Yeah, it includes camping at the track. It does not include paddock or track access.
I mean,
so you had to buy that individually. So for the whole week, that's
most
$240.
events.
So that's
you
Tuesday
pay
to
for camping,
Saturday.
and then you
Well,
pay
technically Tuesday
for
to
your
Sunday, I
ticket
guess.
because it's a separate thing. Because there's lots of people that show up. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. No, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying that's the extra cost. So, but all in, if you're camping by yourself, you're $500. You're $750 for the week, which is cheaper than the cheapest hotel by a quarter. Now, obviously, when camping, you can bring more people in there, so you can split that initial $500, and then everybody just buys their track ticket. So it gets cheaper, obviously, the more people you do. So we camped. We had 2 camp spots, the 2 RP spots, because that allowed us to have enough vehicles. And Michael has a car hauler that he wanted to park, in camp. It's a car hauler / camper, motor coach, I guess you'd call it. So we got 2 spots because that would accommodate that big truck plus all our tents plus any extra cars we had with us at our campsite. So that worked out pretty well. But there were, I'd say 6 or 7 of us total. So that splits everything down super cheap. So you can spend the whole week there for individually less than $500. I mean, obviously that doesn't count getting there and food and all that stuff. But most of the events are
Yeah.
either free, or if somebody you're going with has a car in, you get in with the car. The higher end events obviously are
Ugh.
not. Like the Quail is $700 for a spectator ticket, so I didn't go to that. The Pebble Beach actual concourse is similar. It's multiple hundreds of dollars for a ticket, so I didn't go to that. But everything I did during the week, I was either with somebody who had a ticket for the event, so it did not cost anything, or the event itself was free. So I would say that the entire week cost me less than $1,000, including getting there. So, and I flew there from Phoenix. I think we booked it on points, but I think the equivalent was like $300 round trip directly into Monterey. And then it's a 15-minute ride to the racetrack from the airport. So it's a very, very convenient to get there. Very convenient place to visit. I guess there was another thing this year that was a camping event that was off track.
Yeah, that looked really cool.
That sports car vacation land thing. I'm not 100% sure.
Oh, see, I like that.
It was cool, but also it looked too artsy for me. I was like, I don't know if that's cool. I don't know. We'll see. That was also a cheap way to do car week, but it was not at the track. I think that being at the track added an extra level of like, this is unbelievable to me. Because, again, having never been at Laguna Seca and then I opened my tent door and stand up and look up, and you're just looking up the corkscrew. So, pretty epic. So that would be my suggestion of how to do it if you can get in there. Obviously, I had an advantage because I went with established people who've been going for years. So they already knew the ins and outs. They already had the campsites booked well in advance, and they have the, first right of refusal each year for them. So I will definitely go back next year for sure. And we'll have to find a way to make you enjoy
It's the
camping later, so
sleeping.
you can come as well.
I have trouble sleeping on like
I get it.
what you call it, a mat for a sleeping bag.
Air mattress. I mean, you can get an air mattress, make like a bed. Anyway, you don't like camping. I understand. You would have actually not loved it at nighttime there because it was cold and windy. Very windy. I never experienced steady winds like that, I don't think, for multiple days in a row. It was just
That
like
sounds
35
terrible.
mile an hour gusts and 55 degrees. It was chilly. It was pretty terrible, actually, but we enjoyed it because we were there at the racetrack. And it was only after dark that happened. And once you get in your tent, you don't feel it anyway. We have that big motor coach with the stacker in the back, which is a huge truck. So we parked that one way and then backed a Suburban up to the other side of it, or drove the Suburban up the other side of it. So we created like a little wall that's in between. But even then, we had a fire ring too, which was nice, like a propane fire ring. Even then, there was one night that we went in the truck because it was too cold and windy out of the truck. So it is what it is. I can live with that for everything else that was good. And
Oh, there
even
you go.
then, that was a nice break for me from the 115 that we've had here. So I'll take it. But yeah, it was amazing. I will try to do a little bit more stuff next year when I'm there. I'll try to hit that downtown area.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I love supercars, but just to say that I did that spot. But other than that, I do it pretty much the same. But I think this is going to be an every year event now. So don't see why it wouldn't be.
Yeah,
That's it, Andrew.
no,
I haven't done anything
that's,
else because I just got home.
Hey, that's it. That's a good recap. That's
Well,
where we're
not
at.
technically, yes, but
Trying to get. The only other thing I did was I went to the local Marblehead Cruisin'. That's always a good show. I think I got one more this year. Coming up September. I'm trying to get the Volvo at least running enough that I could drive it over there because it's not far from the house for a little shakedown. That's, and then we'll see what the
that'd be
weather
neat.
is. They did
Yeah, it'd be really
one in
cool.
October. Last year they had an extra one because the weather was nice. And Saturday, it's Team O'Neill Rally Fest. So I'm going to go up. I already emailed them. They were looking for streetcar versions or other rally cars to put in their car show. So I emailed them. I was like, hey, can I bring the Galant up there? And they're like, yes, absolutely. So I was like, why don't we park it next to Tim's championship car? So I'm going to bring that up Saturday. Yeah. Yeah, that's
That'll
I'm
be a
just
cool
gonna
picture.
after this podcast get ready to do that. I'm gonna drive up to my place up there and work from home tomorrow, and then go up Saturday. So
Man, I'll tell you, sitting here thinking a lot, like thinking in my head of all
yeah,
the things I forgot to even talk about from car week. There's
okay,
gonna be a second update on this next week, I think. I can add some more things. I'm just going through it like so you talk about Saturday. I was like, oh, Saturday here is at this place called the Warehouse. They're doing a Haggerty Drivers Club event, and inside the building is going to be all Italian cars because pro drifter Federico Shafir, Federico is his name. His last name I'm hard with pronouncing. Sharifo, I think it's Sharifo.
yeah,
He drifts 599. Is that the French Ferrari? I think it's a 599. A 599 Ferrari in D1 Grand Prix drifting, and he is in town, so they're doing a thing with him. We hung out with him most of the week in Monterey Car Week because he's friends with Michael. That was pretty neat to meet a professional drifter and I don't know, just be in that space for a while. Just again, that's why I said there's so many things that are in my head that are popping out that I forgot about. So anyway,
all right,
what we're
fair
talking about
enough,
Saturday?
fair enough.
I don't even know anymore.
Go work
my
on
my brain is fried, Andrew. It's
some
been
of
a
your
week.
cars or something.
It's been a week. So yeah, I
I
can't
think
work.
maybe we talked about.
I can't.
You
I
did.
said that
Maybe we already talked about.
stuff
You
cut
did
off
have
my
the head
back.
done on the Corolla, and they said it was all good. And then I think my suggestion is
Yep,
going to
talked about
be
that last week. Yep.
just send the whole
Yep.
engine block to that machine shop and have them check it. And it sounds like they're
That's what's
inexpensive
happening.
enough. Just have them do the rainless.
That's what's happening.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm going to bring
that's
the whole thing
probably
down to
the
them and just
easy
have them go
button on
through it.
that.
That's
Um,
where it's at. So
but yeah, I
quickest,
really
easiest way.
now it's late. I want to go work on cars, but it's too late. So
That way I can move on to other things.
no, I'm looking forward. Now I'm like, I do it next week.
Sorry,
So
Andrew.
I just want to go work on cars, but I haven't done anything else. No RC stuff.
Anyway, I just wanted to I'd say big thanks again to Michael at Italian Design Racing, Josh Mead, David and Mark and Mike's dad Jim just for having me along on that trip with them. And I don't envision ever not going
Yeah.
again. So I hope
Well, you
they
might have
enjoyed
to
my
come out to
company
Grid Life
because I'm going back.
one time.
So
Just check
just
it
want to
out.
make sure I thank everybody.
Yeah, if they're
I mean, I'm sure I could make both things work if they do different
Exactly.
weeks. Who knows?
Who
I've
wants
already
to go
been to
to
Massachusetts twice
Massachusetts?
this summer, so I'm yeah. But anyway, that's all. I'm riding that last week's high. I don't even know how to talk about it yet. I think I need some more time to come down and maybe edit some more pictures.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
remind
Since
me
you
more
can't do
things
anything
we
else,
did
why
talk
don't
about.
you post some pictures?
So good.
So there you go. All right, cool. So
Planning on it.
what do we got? NASCAR's back to Daytona this weekend, so I'll be watching that. Hopefully it's a cool winner like last
Yep.
year. I had Harrison Burton win. That was cool. So maybe somebody else cool will win. And
Yeah, so
yeah,
random.
that'd be wild.
SVG.
Because it's like getting there. I think there's only like 2 races left. Playoffs. So. Oh, maybe it is.
I thought Daytona was the last race.
Shows how much I follow it, but I don't follow it. So I'm obsessed over it. Yeah. I know enough. I don't obsess over it.
Knowing the rules is hard.
But anyway. All right, cool. So go follow us on Instagram so Brad can post some pictures, pressure him to post some pictures. He definitely doesn't have an excuse. If he can't work on cars, he should sit on the couch and post some pictures while he's watching TV. Right?
Sure.
Yeah, Off Topic on
Don't tell me what to
Instagram.
do.
Off Topic
Do what I
on
want.
Facebook, I guess, if you're still on there. Off Topic on Threads sometimes. I am also Racing Anger on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, all the places. Message us. If you're not in the Discord, you can come join us, hang out in the Discord. It's free. Just come hang out. That's all. Lots of cool stuff going on there. People are always working on cool projects and cars. So where can they find you, Brad?
All
No.
those same
All right.
places essentially.
And
but
go bully him
as
into
TSI
posting some pictures.
SS350.
Yeah. All right, cool. As always, keep
Or
yours
just watch
analog
as I post.
and aim for roses.